Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about a woman who walks alone, not because she has to, but because she chooses to. A woman with no boyfriend. Some might say that's a tragedy, a gap waiting to be filled, a love story unfinished. But let's flip that narrative. Let's rewrite it with power, with pride, with fire. Because this is not a story of loneliness. This is a story of wholeness. Of a woman who wakes up every morning and doesn't wait for good morning texts to feel valued. She doesn't measure her worth by someone else's attention, doesn't shrink herself to fit into a space that wasn't meant for her in the first place. She builds, she creates, she thrives, not in halves, but in her own magnificent entirety. There is a story the world loves to tell, a story where a woman is always searching, always waiting, always incomplete until love arrives. But what if that story is wrong? What if a woman without a boyfriend is not half of anything, but the full masterpiece of her own making? She does not walk through life looking for someone to give her meaning. She already has it. Her dreams, her passions, her ambitions, they are not placeholders for love. They are the heartbeat of her existence. She is not a question waiting for an answer, not a missing puzzle piece, not a blank page in need of someone else's words. She is already the story, already the poetry, already the force moving through the world with undeniable purpose. There is power in knowing that happiness is not borrowed from another person but built from within. Some will wonder how she stands so tall, how she smiles so effortlessly, how she dares to be content without a romantic hand to hold. The answer is simple. She holds her own. She finds strength in solitude, not sorrow. She knows that love, when it comes, should never be the reason she shines, but only in addition to the light she already carries. They say life is about love, and they are right. But love is not just romance. Love is the fire in her soul when she chases her dreams. Love is the way she refuses to shrink for the comfort of others. Love is the way she rises, not because someone lifts her, but because she lifts herself. She does not wait, she does not settle, she does not let the world define what wholeness looks like, because she knows, she has always known, she was never half of anything. She is and has always been absolutely undeniably whole. There is a kind of power that comes from within, a quiet but unshakable force that doesn't beg for approval or seek permission to exist. A woman without a boyfriend is not waiting for someone to tell her she is beautiful, valuable, or enough. She already knows. Her worth is not up for debate, not something that fluctuates based on who notices her, who texts back, or who chooses to stay. She walks into a room and owns it, not because someone is watching, but because she carries herself with the confidence of a woman who doesn't need external validation to feel seen. She does not measure her self-worth by the presence or absence of romance. She is not looking for love to complete her, because she was never incomplete to begin with. The love she has for herself, for her passions, for the life she is building, that is more than enough. There will be voices, some loud, some subtle, that try to convince her otherwise. They will say she needs someone to truly be happy, that she will understand her worth only when she is loved by another, but she knows better. She knows that the deepest kind of love is the one she cultivates within herself. She knows that self-respect, self-care, and self-belief are not placeholders for a relationship. They are the foundation of everything she is. She does not wait for flowers. She plants her own garden. She does not seek a savior. She is her own hero. She does not look into someone else's eyes to find her reflection. She already sees herself clearly, and that clarity, that unshakable knowing is what makes her unstoppable. She does not live for compliments, attention, or validation. She lives for herself, for her growth, for the life she is creating, and in doing so, she proves that the most powerful kind of love, the kind that changes everything, starts from within. Independence is not about standing alone, it's about standing strong. A woman without a boyfriend is not lost, not searching, not incomplete. She is in motion, building, growing, and thriving. She does not wait for someone to hold her hand before she takes the next step. She moves forward because she trusts herself, because she knows that the life she is creating does not require permission from anyone else. She wakes up every day with a purpose, not looking for someone to define her happiness, but carving it out with her own hands. She is the architect of her dreams, the author of her own story, the force that refuses to be confined by expectations. Society will try to convince her that independence is just a phase, that eventually she will need someone to complete her. But she knows better. She knows that independence is not a temporary state, it is a lifelong strength. She does not fear solitude because she understands that it is in those quiet moments, in the space she creates for herself, that she finds her greatest power. She is not afraid to make decisions, to take risks, to step into the unknown because she has learned that she is her own anchor. She is not looking for someone to rescue her because she was never in need of saving. There is a certain energy that comes from a woman who relies on no one but herself. It is in the way she walks with confidence, in the way she speaks with certainty, in the way she embraces life fully without waiting for someone to give her permission to do so. She does not live in the shadow of someone else's dreams. She chases her own. She does not shrink to fit into someone's world. She builds her own, and when love does come, if and when she chooses it, it will not be out of necessity but out of choice. Because a woman who is independent does not need love to define her. She welcomes it only when it adds to the masterpiece she is already creating. Love is a beautiful thing, but it is not the only. A woman without a boyfriend is not rejecting love. She is simply refusing to settle for anything less than something real, something extraordinary, something that adds to her life rather than defines it. She is not someone who clings to the idea of love for the sake of having it. She understands that love is a choice, not a necessity. The world tells her she should be looking, that she should be waiting, that love is the missing piece of her happiness. But she knows better. She knows that love is not about filling a void because there is no void. Her life is full of dreams, of laughter, of purpose, of moments that are entirely her own. She does not rush, does not force, does not settle, because she understands that the right love, when it comes, will not require her to shrink herself or abandon her own journey. She has seen what it means to be with someone just for the sake of not being alone, and she refuses to live that way. She refuses to give away her heart just because society says it's time. She does not mistake attention for affection or presence for partnership. She does not love for the sake of being loved. She loves only when it's real, when it's deep, when it's worth the energy she pours into it. She is not afraid to be alone because she understands that being alone does not mean being lonely. She embraces her solitude, knowing that the right person will never ask her to give up her independence just to be with them. And if love never arrives in the way the world expects it to, she will still be standing, still be shining, still be living a life that is whole, beautiful, and completely hers. She chooses love when it adds to her, when it empowers her, when it elevates her, but she will never need it to survive. Because love is a choice, not a necessity, and she chooses herself first. Happiness is not something she borrows from someone else. It is not tied to a relationship, not dependent on a title, not waiting for another person to bring it to her doorstep. A woman without a boyfriend is not missing out on joy, she is redefining it. She is proving that happiness is not found in someone else's arms, but in the life she chooses to build for herself. The world tries to convince her that love is the key to fulfillment, that a relationship is the milestone that validates her existence. But she knows the truth. Happiness is not a destination she reaches when someone arrives in her life. It is something she cultivates daily, in the little moments. The way she laughs freely, the way she chases her passions, the way she stands strong in her own skin, unshaken by the idea that she needs a partner to be whole. She does not wait for date nights to feel special, does not need validation to feel beautiful, does not measure the success of her life by whether or not she is in love. She finds joy in her freedom and her ambitions, in the friendships she nurtures, in the dreams she pursues without hesitation. She is living, not in anticipation of romance, but in the fullness of everything life has to offer. There will always be people who don't understand how she can be this happy on her own. They will assume she is just pretending, that deep down she must be longing for love. But she is not pretending, she is not longing, she is thriving. Because happiness is not something she waits for, it is something she creates. And if love comes, it will not be to rescue her, complete her, or make her whole. It will be an addition, not the foundation, because she has already built a life she loves, a life she is proud of, a life that is full, with or without romance. Happiness is hers not because of who is beside her, but because of who she is. Solitude is not emptiness, it is power. A woman without a boyfriend does not fear being alone. She embraces it. She understands that solitude is not a void to be filled, but a space to be cultivated. A sanctuary where she learns, grows, and becomes the strongest version of herself. The world tells her that silence is something to be afraid of, that an empty seat at the table means something is missing. But she knows better. She knows that in solitude she finds clarity, in solitude she finds strength. It is in the quiet moments when there is no one else's voice to influence her, no expectations pressing in on her, that she truly hears her own, and that voice is powerful. That voice reminds her that she does not need a relationship to feel valued, does not need a title to feel important, does not need external validation to know she is enough. She walks through life with a confidence that does not come from being loved by someone else, but from loving herself. She is comfortable in her own presence, not desperate for distractions, not searching for someone to fill a space that was never empty to begin with. She understands that there is a difference between being alone and being lonely, and she refuses to confuse the two. Loneliness is searching for something outside of yourself to bring you peace. Solitude is finding peace within yourself, knowing that your own company is enough. She does not fear going to a restaurant alone, traveling alone, living alone, because she understands that these moments of independence are not signs of lack, but signs of freedom. And if love comes, she will welcome it, but it will not be out of fear of solitude, because she has already learned to stand strong in her own presence, already built a foundation that does not need someone else to hold it up. Solitude has made her unshakable. Solitude has made her fearless. And in that space, in that stillness, she has found something far greater than a relationship. She has found herself. The world loves to tell her who she should be. It hands her a checklist, a timeline, a set of expectations wrapped in traditions she never agreed to. It tells her that by now she should have found someone, should be planning a future with a partner, should be moving toward the love story written by someone else. But she refuses to live by rules that do not belong to her. A woman without a boyfriend is not behind in life. She is simply living it on her own terms. She does not measure her success by whether or not she is in a relationship, does not let outdated norms dictate what happiness looks like. She knows that the world's definition of fulfillment is not the only definition, and she is bold enough to create her own. And they will ask when she will settle down, as if her life is waiting to begin. They will wonder why she is not searching, as if love is a prize she must hurry to claim. They will assume she is incomplete, as if the absence of a partner means something is missing. But she does not exist to meet expectations. She exists to break them. She does not live for approval. She lives for herself. She is rewriting the narrative. She is proving that a woman's worth is not tied to her relationship status, that her value is not determined by whether or not she is chosen by someone else, that her life is not defined by love alone, but by purpose, ambition, passion, and the freedom to be exactly who she was meant to be. She does not conform. She does not settle. She does not let the weight of societal pressure bend her into someone she is not. She walks her own path at her own pace with a confidence that cannot be shaken, because she knows that her journey is hers alone, and she is not afraid to live it fully. Without apologies, without compromise, and without waiting for permission from anyone, she stands at the edge of the world, not looking for someone to pull her forward, but knowing that she has always had the strength to walk alone. A woman without a boyfriend is not a story of absence, it is a story of presence. A presence so powerful, so unapologetic, so full of life, that it refuses to be defined by what is missing, because nothing is missing. She is not incomplete. She is not unfinished. She is not waiting for love to begin her life, because she is already living it. She is already chasing dreams that set her soul on fire, already building a foundation so strong that no absence can shake it. She understands that love, when it comes, should be a beautiful addition, not the only reason to feel whole. They will ask when she will find someone. They will wonder how she stands so strong, so confident, so radiant without the presence of a partner. But what they fail to see is that she has already found someone, herself. And that discovery, that self-love, that deep and unwavering belief in who she is, that is more powerful than any fleeting romance, more lasting than any temporary affection. She does not settle because she knows her worth. She does not seek because she understands that true happiness does not come from being chosen, but from choosing herself first. She does not need love to validate her existence, because her existence is already filled with meaning. And if love comes, it will be welcomed, but it will never be the reason she shines. And if it never arrives in the way the world expects, she will still stand tall, still walk boldly, still live fully, because she was never half of anything. She has always been whole, a force, a light, a woman who needs no permission, no validation, and no one else to complete the masterpiece that is already her life.